The morning sun had barely risen over the sleepy town of Willow Creek when Officer Daniel Brooks began his patrol shift. It was a quiet, peaceful community, a place where the loudest sound on most days was the whistle of the bakery owner greeting early risers. Daniel liked it that way. After years in the city police force, filled with chaos and tragedy, Willow Creek was his escape, a second chance at peace. But peace wasn't on the menu that morning. As he drove slowly down Maplewood Lane, his radio silent and the cool breeze sneaking in through the cracked window, a sudden noise jolted him from his calm, frantic barking. A golden retriever stood in the middle of the road, its fur dusty, tail stiff, barking wildly at something by the edge of the woods. Daniel slowed to a stop. "Hey there, buddy," he called, stepping out. But the dog didn't move toward him. Instead, it ran to a nearby oak tree, barking harder, pawing at its trunk as if begging Daniel to see something. Curiosity took over. Daniel followed, his boots crunching the dried leaves beneath him. That's when he saw it, a strange lump bulging out from the side of the old tree, about shoulder height. It looked unnatural. Almost like the tree had grown around something. The dog whimpered now, circling the tree, looking back at Daniel with pleading eyes. His instincts stirred something was wrong. Daniel reached out and touched the lump. The bark was rough, but softer in places, like it was covering something hollow. He pressed harder and the bark shifted slightly under his fingers. His pulse quickened. "Hold on," he murmured, pulling out his pocket knife to scrape gently at the surface. Bits of bark fell away, revealing a glimpse of faded blue fabric. A chill shot through him. Fabric. Inside the tree. Daniel called for backup immediately, but deep down, he knew he couldn't wait. He dug carefully with his hands, the dog beside him whining anxiously. As the minutes passed, more of the cloth emerged, then a small shoe. Daniel froze. Within half an hour, the truth began to unfold. Hidden within the hollow of the tree, protected by years of growth, was the small, fragile body of a child long missing from the town. The discovery sent shockwaves through Willow Creek. The child was Emily Parker, a 6-year-old girl who had disappeared nearly 15 years ago. Her face had been on every lamppost back then, every heart in the town shattered when she never came home. Her parents had moved away years later, unable to bear the pain. But how had her remains ended up here, sealed within a tree? And why had no one found her before? Investigations reopened old wounds and old suspicions. Daniel worked tirelessly, determined to uncover the truth, haunted by Emily's photograph, a little girl with bright eyes and a smile that could melt stone. He couldn't shake the image, or the sound of the dog's desperate barking. Days turned into weeks. Forensic teams combed the area, tracing old evidence, and slowly, the puzzle came together. Emily hadn't wandered off like everyone once believed. She had been taken by a drifter who worked near the town years ago, a man who vanished shortly after she did. When he realized the police were closing in, he hid her body in the hollow tree, covering it with bark and dirt, leaving nature to conceal his crime. But nature, it seemed, had its own way of revealing truth. The oak tree had continued to grow, sealing Emily's memory within it until a dog, perhaps sensing something long forgotten, brought her story back to light. As the case closed, Daniel attended the small memorial service held beneath that same tree. The townsfolk gathered, candles flickering in their hands, their faces lined with tears and memories. The dog, who turned out to belong to an elderly widow nearby, sat quietly by Daniel's side, tail curled around its paws. When Emily's parents returned to Willow Creek for the ceremony, Daniel met them gently, offering them a small wooden cross he had carved himself. "She's home now," he told them softly. "You can rest. And so can she." The mother wept into his arms, whispering gratitude through broken breaths. That night, long after the crowd had gone, Daniel stayed by the tree. The moonlight bathed the clearing in silver, and the wind rustled softly through the leaves almost like a lullaby. The dog sat beside him again, looking up at the tree with calm eyes. "Funny how life works," Daniel murmured. "It took 15 years, but the truth found its way out." He placed his hand on the trunk, feeling the steady, living pulse of the old oak. "Thank you," he whispered. Whether it was to the tree, to fate, or to Emily herself, even Daniel wasn't sure. As he turned to leave, the dog gave a gentle bark just once, as if saying goodbye. The story of the Tree of Truth, as it came to be known, spread far beyond Willow Creek. But for those who lived there, it wasn't about mystery or shock anymore. It was about closure. About the bond between man, nature, and the inexplicable instincts that guide us toward what's right even after years of silence. And every morning after that, as the sun rose over Willow Creek, Daniel made sure to stop by the oak tree on his patrol. The golden retriever often joined him, sitting quietly beside him as they both watched the light filter through the branches. Because sometimes, healing doesn't come through words or justice. Sometimes, it comes through listening to a barking dog, a whispering wind, or a tree that refused to forget. Moral: the truth may sleep beneath silence and time, but it never truly dies. One day, it finds its way home.